What if the fear you are trying to avoid is actually your moment of destiny? In the kingdom of Persia, danger was spreading quietly. A royal decree had been signed. On a chosen day, every Jew in the empire would be destroyed. Men, women, children, no mercy, no escape. Far from the palace, Mordecai sat at the king's gate dressed in sackcloth and ashes. He cried out loudly in the streets. His grief was deep. His pain was public. The city of Susa was confused and troubled. Something terrible was coming. But inside the palace, Queen Esther did not know. When her servants told her that Mordecai was mourning at the gate, she was disturbed. Why is he acting this way? What happened? She quickly sent him fresh clothes, but he refused them. He would not be comforted. Through a messenger, Mordecai sent Esther a copy of the king's decree. When she read it, her heart must have pounded. Her people were marked for death. Then Mordecai sent her a powerful message. Do not think that because you are in the palace, you will escape. If you stay silent at this time, help will come from somewhere else, but you and your family will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? For such a time as this. Those words were heavy. Esther was queen, yes, but she was also a Jew. And there was a law in the kingdom. Anyone who went before the king without being invited could be killed instantly, unless the king stretched out his golden scepter. Esther had not been called to the king for 30 days. 30 days. To walk into that throne room without invitation could mean death. Fear stood before her. Responsibility stood behind her. Destiny was calling her name. Then Esther made a decision that would change everything. Go, gather all the Jews in Susa. Fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will fast as you do. Then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. Listen to those words again. If I perish, I perish. This was courage. This was surrender. This was faith in action. Across the city, the Jews fasted and prayed. No food, no water, only desperate cries rising to heaven. The palace grew quiet as Esther prepared herself, not just with royal garments, but with prayer. Not just with beauty, but with boldness. Esther chapter 4 is not about comfort. It is about calling. It is about a woman who understood that her position was not an accident. She was placed there for a reason. Sometimes God does not speak with thunder. Sometimes he places you in the right place, at the right time, and waits for you to rise. Esther could have remained silent. She could have protected her title. She could have chosen safety over purpose. But she chose courage. And because she chose to stand up, history was about to change forever. Now the question is not only about Esther. The question is about you. What moment are you facing right now? What fear is standing in your way? What is your such a time as this? Will you step forward? Will you trust God? Will you rise even if it costs you something? Because sometimes your greatest miracle begins with one brave decision. What do you do when one step could cost you your life? The law was clear. Anyone who entered the king's inner court without being summoned would die, unless the king extended the golden scepter. After 3 days of fasting, Queen Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace. King Xerxes sat on his throne, overlooking the hall. Servants froze. Officials watched. The air was heavy with tension. She stepped forward. The king saw her. Seconds felt like hours. Then, he extended the golden scepter. She lived. Esther approached and touched its tip. The king asked, "What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you." But Esther did not reveal her request. With calm wisdom, she said, "If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to a banquet I have prepared." Haman was summoned. At the banquet, as wine was served, the king again asked her request. Again she delayed. "If the king regards me with favor," she said, "let the king and Haman come tomorrow to another banquet. Then I will answer the king." Strategy, not fear. Haman left that day joyful and proud. He alone had been invited to dine with the king and queen. But when he saw Mordecai at the gate, refusing to bow, his joy turned to rage. At home, he boasted of his wealth, his position, and his special invitation. Yet he admitted, "All this gives me no satisfaction as long as I see Mordecai sitting at the king's gate." His wife and friends gave him deadly advice. Have a gallows built 75 feet high. In the morning, ask the king to hang Mordecai on it, then go happily to the banquet. The idea pleased Haman. The order was given. The gallows began to rise into the night sky. Haman slept, confident of victory. Esther prepared for her next move, and God was setting the stage for a reversal no one saw coming. The banquet was ready. The trap was set. But the downfall would not belong to the queen. It would belong to the proud.